The Zeppelin, and ladies and gentlemen, last I left off, I got all the parts on, got everything sanded down. The conning tower here, it sit flush, but not either, and it had a little bit of a gap there. So what I did, I don't like to use a lot of putty. Putty is more problematic. You know, you have to sand, get all the sanding dust. However, you can use for little seam, little gaps, tulip. Tulip Slick to be exact. It's actually thick acrylic paint. However, if you would like to stay in the putty realm, you can get you a Vallejo plastic putty. Basically the same thing. This is basically white with crushed marble in it. And put you a little bit on with your, where is it? You know, a little bit of an applicator. Just put it on, smooth it out with water, let it dry, and you paint over it, and you're good to go. You don't have to sand nothing or anything. So, you know, that's just, tulip is always indispensable. So, got that done. My next thing to do now is I'm going to paint the whole thing black. And basically the Zeppelin is a metallic color. So the black base coat, and I'll put the metallic on top of it, and it will make the metallic pop, make it look realistic. So anyway, I got part of it painted, and then I'm going to paint the rest of it today or tomorrow. And then we're going to start painting the metallic. So anyway, that's where I am on the Zeppelin. But before we end the Zeppelin, we are going to talk about an adult subject, and we're going to have an adult conversation. So if you get easily offended, you're going to have to turn me off and turn away, because I don't want people banging on the keyboard telling me we're talking about an adult subject. So we're going to discuss an adult subject right now. So I warned everyone. So 3, 2, 1. We're actually building the Hindenburg. And on the Hindenburg, it has swastikas on the tail. Now, this ship's going to actually be hung in a public place. So it's going to have the swastikas on there, but we're going to hide the swastikas. That's because it's a private collector. He's going to hang it. It's going to have no swastikas on it hung in the store, but if he wants to take it home, and you can pull off the coverings, and he can have his historical accurate Hindenburg. So anyway, I'm not offended putting it on by no means. It's historically accurate. It's just one of those. So what I'm going to do. This is a 40-year-old kit, and most kits that have swastikas on there, these decals are maybe a little. Let me say this: it's a 40-year-old kit, but the newer releases, they have the basically a red decal with the white circle, and that's pretty much it. Or they'll have like an X, or they'll have some form of a lot of the newer kits, like your modern military. Kit companies, they'll make a swastika, they'll break it in pieces where you'll be able to use a swastika. But anyway, this is a 40-year-old kit. I may not be able to use the decals, being old, but there is a way to do it if it works, and that is using liquid decal film. All you do is you just brush it on with a soft brush, a couple of coats, and it may work, may not. It's decals become brittle over time, and they either they lose their adhesive, and they still may crack. I may experiment with one just to see if it works. If not, what I'm going to do on the swastika decals is I'm going to actually paint the red stripe, and then paint the circle, and then I either have swastika decals that I'll put on it, or I'll paint it. But however, we're going to put that on, and then I'm going to basically take a red, piece of paper, and tack, like a wall tack, the putty tack that you can get for posters that's non-sticky. We'll get that sealed. We'll put the decal on, and we'll take the tack, put that on top of the decal, and then we'll take a little red covering and put over it. So you'll just have you'll have a red line that's hiding the swastika decal on the tail. So that's what we're going to do on that, just hide everything. That way you'll be able to display it, and he'll be able to display it another way as well. So that's my adult conversation and the adult subject for the Hindenburg. The Type 94, he's getting real close to being done. I got almost the rest of him painted, goggles painted. I just got a little more to do on the little highlights on his pouches there. I got to do a little more highlights on the gloves, and a little more on the tank here and there. I've been adding some rain marks, which very, very faint. You probably not be able to see much of it. It's very, very subtle, and I still need to do a little chipping. Need to do a little more. I need to do chipping on the. I did put a wash on the base, and I need to do some chipping and some make the base pop out just a tad bit more. But on the groundwork, I started adding the grass. And if you can see that, a lot of people use static grass. I don't really care for it. I like to use blended turf. I think that mixed with you can mix it with a little bit of gravel, fine gravel, mixed with a little dried leaves, and I think it's more realistic on the ground. It makes it very subtle, and it doesn't. Static grass to me, when you see it on dioramas, it's just you see it. It stands out. The blended turf really blends in with everything, which I think groundwork should do, is blend in, and you should see the vehicle first before you start seeing the groundwork. But anyway, that is where I am on that. So I've been slowly putting the groundwork on the Type 94. But anyway, that's what I got going on today. We are getting ready to start painting the Zeppelin and starting the groundwork on the Type 94. So that's what I got going on today. So stay tuned for the next exciting episode.